Hi, in today's video, I'll be talking about the all-new Data Management Table Cleaner, which is a new tool introduced with the Yokohama version of ServiceNow and is a direct replacement of the existing tool called Table Cleanup, which had its own limitation being a single-threaded application. Now, this new tool, like the existing one, is used for table bulk data deletion and is more efficient than the older one. Now, let's talk about the framework. The new framework is designed based on the producer and consumer concept. That means there is the producer activity, which would basically generate the task, and there is a consumer activity, which would basically consume this generated task by the producer and with the help of the scheduler execute those tasks. And that is the whole concept of this new framework. Now, what is the benefit of this new tool over the existing one? So the new tool is multi-threaded and it's scalable because actually you can go and increase the producer and consumer number based on your data load requirement. But again, there are some recommendations from ServiceNow on what is the maximum number of producer or consumers you can configure for the scalable functionality. Now, as compared to the existing tool, it's much faster because there is parallel processing, you have multi-threaded architecture, and then even if a thread dies out because it may get timed out or get killed or something, you would still have the other threads executing different parts of the work. So it's more resilient in nature. Okay, next. So what are the new tables which are introduced with the table cleaner functionality? So the new tables which are introduced with the new functionality is the DM jobs table, the DM run table, and the DM chunk table. And it has got its own importance in the new framework. These tables are not alone to deliver the whole functionality. The new tool still uses the existing tables which was introduced with the table cleanup tool. Like this is auto flush table which was used by the table cleaner. It is still being used with the new framework. Now, enough of concepts. Let's get into the instance and see how this works. So I'm in the instance now, and now I would go to the system data management module to check from where I can generate the data management jobs. And this is the place where exactly we are going to define the data management jobs. So let's go inside the data management policies. Now you can see here that there are some existing out-of-the-box data management policies, and let's try to create one. Now I would like to create a data management policy to delete any incident which is more than 2 years old. So let's see how we can do that. So I'll just put incident data cleanup, and I'll pick the table incident. Okay, now interestingly, I'm not able to select this table here, and there is a reason behind this. If there is an existing data management policy on the same table, then I cannot create a new data management policy on the same table. So what I have to do is I have to reuse the existing data management policy to create a new data management deletion job. Okay, so let's go back and see what is the existing data management policy we have. Since it's not allowing me to create a new one, so let me search if we already have a policy on incident table. Yes. So as I was expecting, we already have a policy called incident policy on the incident table. So, and that's the reason it would not allow me to create a new one. So I would go to the existing incident policy, and as you can see here, it has already got a archiving rule defined in it. So it's a data management framework, and it works for both archiving rules, setting up archiving policies, and for data cleanup. Here, I would like to mention that why we have the archiving rule as a part of data management policy, because even the archiving rules or the archiving functionality works on the same kind of framework where we have a producer which generates the archiving rules and the task associated with it, and then there is a consumer which would go ahead and execute that. So let's go to the table cleanup rules for now and try to create a cleanup job for deleting incidents which are more than 2 years old. So I'll click on new. So you have got the match field which is automatically populated by this tool, and as you can see here, it's the auto flush record which is on the same table which was used by the existing table cleanup application. Now let's define the age in seconds. That means I want this policy to get executed on all the records on the incident table which are more than, say, 2 years old. So I've got this figure for 2 years in seconds. I'll keep it active on, which is fine. I don't want to cascade delete. That means I don't want to delete records which are related with this incident. I don't want to. If you want to do that, you can use this option here. So it would go ahead and delete anything which is related to that incident record. Then there are many other options. Again, this thing is important here. Now, suppose if you want to delete a table which is on a different application scope, you can do that as well. So you can create the data management policies in different application scopes. Now let's move on to the clean journals option. So this would basically clean up the journal entries on the data. Then you have the clean audit option, which would go and clean up the data from the sys audit table and the sys audit relation table. But again, I don't want any of them, not for this demo. And I would use another option, one more option, which is active as false. The tickets which are more than 2 years age and which are inactive, right? So before I submit, let me just go to the incident table and see how many incidents do we have which are more than 2 years of age, right? So I'll just click on all. So I'm on the incident table now. I'll put up a filter, create it. There you go, last 2 years. So here you can see that there are total 27 incidents which are created 2 years back. Let me put another condition of active, and active is false, right? So with this new condition, which is created 2 years back and active is false, I'm getting total 9 incidents. Now let's see if our data management cleanup tool would actually go and clean up this data from the incident table. So I'm on the data management policy configuration page again. So I would be creating a record in the sys auto flush table. So let's go ahead and save this. So if you see here, a table cleanup rule has been created in the auto flush table. So the next thing I would do is I would go to the scheduler and make sure that the DM job is running in the scheduler, because this is the job which would basically trigger the producer and the consumer job when it runs every 1 hour. So when the DM job starts, it would make sure that the producer is creating the task and the consumer is executing them parallelly. And the details of this task and the executions could be seen in the DM run table and DM chunk table. So let's click on the today's scheduled jobs and look for the DM job. So you can see there are 2 of them. This one runs every 12 hourly and then this one which runs every hour. And this is of our importance because this is the job which would basically execute the deletion. Now, if I see the next action, it is saying that about 42 minutes from now. So that means the next job it would pick would be about 41 minutes from now. DM schedule would execute the DM job from the DM job table, and then the task would be created in the DM run table and the DM chunks table, and then the consumer would pick it up and execute it. Now, producer is a very important part of this framework, because if I have submitted a job which would have a huge data load, like which would have a huge number of records to be deleted from a table, the producer would go and divide it in chunks so that each chunk is picked up by the consumer and executed as a thread. Now, there are some limitations around how long a task could take to execute, and it is around 20 minutes per thread as per the documentations. So if a task takes more than 20 minutes, it would be paused and then it would be repicked again when the next scheduler job executes. And while we are on the schedule page, let's see if the existing table cleanup schedule has been disabled. Yes, we do have this. So this is the existing table cleaner, and as you can see here, this is currently disabled, and this is disabled with the Yokohama release. So make sure that this is disabled, because both the old and the new one has something in common, and definitely they should not interfere with the functionality. So let's wait for our DM scheduler to run. So this is the one. So 22 more minutes to go. So let's wait till this gets executed. So the scheduler has executed the job just right now. If I go to the DM jobs runs table, I can see that there is a job which is in processing, and I have filtered it through the rule ID. This rule ID, and this rule ID you get it from the data management policy. Now if I just refresh it, it shows it's complete. It just took fractions of a second to execute this job, since there are only 9 records. So if I go to the incident table, yeah, and if I refresh this list, now this is interesting, because we thought that it would go ahead and delete 9 records, but actually it has deleted 4 of them, because only 4 of them were more than 2 years of age. So they were like 9 years old tickets. But the ones which are listed here, even though it shows around 2 years, but actually these are not 2 years old ticket as such, because if you calculate the age of this ticket, so it was created on 19th December 2023, and if you calculate it with today's date, it would be around 1 year, I believe, 1 year, 10 months or something. But this is not exactly 2 years, and I think that's the reason data management cleaner has not picked up these records, because in the data management job rule, we defined that it would pick up anything which is of 2 years and older data, right? So if we go back, to the data management policy and look for our policy, it would mean that, so all data in the incident table which are created beyond this age, so this is exactly 2 years, so anything which is created at or beyond 2 years. So I think that's the logic this tool has taken, and it's deleted all the incidents which were inactive and more than 2 years of age. So this completes our small demo for the data management table cleaner, and now we know what is this new tool and how it is different from the old one and how we can make use of it to clean up bulk data in different tables. I hope this session has been helpful to you, and I have been able to introduce something new in this video. Now, before I close this video, I would like to show you this particular KB here, which is an amazing resource to learn about this tool, and I'm sure this would give more insight about the tool. I think that's all for today. I'll go ahead and close this video here. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next.